writing expressions and equations. And what we are looking at is the difference between an expression and an equation. If you think you know the difference, tell your shoulder partner. The difference between an equation.
Thank you for this short announcement.
Quiet, please.
Faculty and students just want to.
Got it?
An expression is like numbers, letters written out. Equation.
What'd you guys say? What do you think? Equation.
Equation is like 5 minus 5, and then an expression is like saying it like 5 more than.
No, for either one of those. You're kind of right on the expression part. I got it. But not quite. Emma, what do you guys think? Do you guys have something, the two of you?
I do.
What do you think? Equation says something is equal to something else, right? Okay, so what's the expression? What do we know about that expression? Ladies in the back.
It doesn't have the equal sign.
So something equal to something else, and an expression has no equal. I kind of agree with that. Yeah. So, an expression does not necessarily have to just have numbers. It can have numbers and variables, okay? So, it says here are some key phrases because you need to make sure you're understanding. So this is what we're going to be working about today. We're going to be working with writing expressions which will have no equal sign. And then we're going to write equations, and the key thing for equations is that they have an equal. They have that equal. And usually the word associated with equal in the English language is. Or it could be was. Past tense it is, right? Okay? So when we are looking at those. So, as we look, we want to make sure you understand plus, the sum, increased by, total, more than, and added to. Those are all phrases that when we see them mean addition. Subtraction phrases, minus, the difference of, decreased by, fewer than, less than, and subtracted from. And I am going to highlight this one because this is the trickiest one, the phrase less than. It gives people many problems. Multiplication, times, product, multiplied, the word of is often twice. If I was going to think of something being 3 times something instead of twice, I might say it triples, right? And instead of twice, we could say that something doubles, right? You've seen that phrase. That just means times 2, right? Divided by, the quotient separated into equal parts. And another one you're going to often see for division is the phrase something per. That word per is like telling us division, okay? So, when we are writing our phrases, it says order is important in subtraction and division. For example, 2 less than a number. And the reason I highlighted that phrase less than is that, and I want you to think of when I do less than, is that less than, what we want to do is with our 2 phrases with the phrase less than, is we have to switch the order. So whenever we see the phrase less than, we want to think, I got to switch the order. In that, if you think of it this way, if I tell you that you have $2 less than I have, and I have 10. $2 less, right? So if we're saying 2 less than a number, that does not mean, if I say 2 less than a number, this is not, okay, this is not going to be 2 minus n. Whenever you see that phrase less than, so anytime you have less than, you have to switch the order. Meaning, you have to switch these 2 around and keep the subtraction. So when we have 2 less than a number, what we really mean is take n and minus 2. Now, someone said, well, do we have to do that with more than? Well, when I say more than, does it matter if I say 2 plus n or n plus 2 for more than? It doesn't matter, right? Addition order doesn't matter. Subtraction and division, it is hugely important which one comes first. So, again, a number divided by 5, you want to make sure you have the x divided by 5, not this way, okay? So just as you read those to make sure you're understanding, okay? All right. So, notice it says we are translating verbal phrases. So I just want you, with your pencils, to kind of match which one goes with which as you read them. And I'm going to just have you quietly do it first on your own, and then we'll check. Notice these are phrases. There is no equal. Please do that right now. Just draw an arrow like I think this one matches here to this one. Okay? Or they're right behind it, might be. They didn't even match them. I forgot that. So, a number increased by 5, 7 less than, notice they switched the order, right? So it's really important when we look at that. 3 more than twice a number. Could you have this phrase, 3 plus 2x? Would that be the same?
Yes.
Yes. So I would not mark that wrong on a quiz if you did it that way. But again, a lot of times they kind of get in the same ways that they do with the less than, and they like to think of it as kind of switching the order. But does it matter with addition? It doesn't matter, just so you know that. Yeah.
So, does it matter for multiplication and division?
Well, usually with division, it does matter hugely. But usually with division, it is going to matter in that you have to write it the same. You got to be careful how you write it. So yes, it matters with division. It does not matter with if we are thinking of addition or with multiplication. But when we do multiplication, we are going to simply talk about putting our coefficients first. So you just got to be careful with that part. So again, notice sentences. Every sentence has an equal sign, right? Every single one of these has an equal. Okay? What phrase was our equal? Well, if we are looking at it, 16 is increased by a number is 27. The difference of a number and 3 equals -4 is 36. -3 is. That phrase is almost always going to tell you equal. So, I want you to write down, I want you to put down expression. And I want you to put down equation. And I want you to write the simplest way you know how, what is the difference between those. So what does an expression have or not have versus an equation? Okay? And then give me an example. Okay? So tell me, an expression, the simplest way you know how. Raise your hand. Simplest way for an expression. Wait.
An expression is a number problem without an equal sign.
No equal sign, right?
No equal sign.
And it doesn't even have to be just a number problem, right? But we're going to have no equal sign. So I want you to put an example right behind that. No equal sign, right? I want you to give me an example of one, okay? Then we want to do our equation. So the simplest way if I'm looking at equation, Abby, it has to have the equal sign, right? Is that what you want that one? Okay. So it has an equal sign. It must have the equal sign. Okay? So I want you to give me at least one example. Okay?
Greater than, less than.
We're just looking at expressions right now. We're not doing on the notes for that part. So give me an example of an expression, Lucas. Do you have one? Write one first and then come back. Write it down. And same as I want you to write this stuff down that I have up here. Okay? So, Mike.
Z plus 3.
Z plus 3. Got another one for me, Gabby.
No, 3x, like 3 times x.
3 times x. Can I have just a number one? Can an expression just be numbers? Yeah. Like what? Okay, look.
6 plus 4.
6 plus 4. Those are all expressions, right? They have no equal sign. You're just doing that, right? When we think about that. So if you haven't written an equation right now, I want you to write an equation. It can be a true one or it can be one that you don't know.
Could I just ask you?
Okay. So, that.
Then
10 up. I thought earlier, sorry.
x plus
X plus
y equals 2.
1. This is the one I don't know what the answer is, right? I'd have to solve it. Can I give an equation that I actually know if I'm looking at it, Maria? 5, what'd you say? 5 minus 3 equals 2. That's a true one, right? I know that answer. Jacob, want to give me another one? 900 plus 400 equals, it does not. You're giving me a false equation. I want true equations. Okay. So if we are looking, we'd have 1300, right? Okay. If I wanted Sanjay to give another one that I have to actually solve, can you give me one that I have to solve? X plus 3 equals 4, right? So if we're looking at those. Ellen, you got one?
5 plus 8 equals
5 plus 8. So does it make sense? An equation is just having that equal in it, right? When we look at that. Okay. So turn to the top of the next page of your notes. Good. Is that one? That kind of okay? Yeah. Okay. All right. I figure some of you will talk and I can get rid of my Halloween candy. It's a good way to get you to participate. So these are verbal phrases, right? These should have no what? No equal. Verbal sentences must have equal. I would like you to read each one and try and write it out right now on your own. And then I'm going to be having you check quietly with your shoulder partner after you've done those first phrases, and we're going to put them up. Do you have something to write with? Okay, come right back here. I have lots of pencils. Okay, don't want to let that slow you down. There you go. Just take one. All right. Anyone else need something to write with? Okay. So write it down first. Look back at the page before if you're not sure about the word. Increase by. Ooh, this is my tricky one, right? The switching order one, right? More than, decrease by, the quotient. If we read the first one, a number increased by 3, how nice and easy could we start off in our life, right? Kylie, what do you have?
X plus 3.
X plus 3. Can I use n? Yes, you can use any variable. I'll usually tell you one. Should I already give you one? There you go. Sometimes I forget people. If I forget you, make sure you tell me, because I've done that. Then my daughter, who I have in class, has chastised me. All right, so we'll look at the next one. 9 less than. What do you have, Maddie? X minus 9. It's a less than definite subtraction, right? We are looking, okay? Let's read that next one as we are looking. Jack, what do you have for the next one? 1, let me pick that up for me. 1 more than 3 times the number. 1 plus 3n. Did anyone write it as 3n plus 1?
Yes.
I would have both of those answers. I would accept it. Right. I do not ever want to see n3, right? We always put this number called in front is called our coefficient. I don't want to see n3 like that. The number goes in front. It's called the coefficient. We write it in front of our variable, not behind it. So don't do that, okay? I will take off a point for that, okay? So 5 decreased by the quotient of a number and 2 as I am looking at that. Jack over here.
X divided by 2 minus 5.
X divided by 2, okay? And 5 is decreased by. So do we want this minus 5 or 5?
minus.
Yes, we want the 5 minus. And this one, you must have it in that order. Okay? So, 5 minus, because you're decreasing, you're taking something away from 5. Okay? So, we're going to read those next ones. Key phrase that you're looking for is the is. That is our equal, right? So, 12 increased by a number is 18. The difference of a number and 6 equals, if you have not written those, please do that now. If you have not done that part, do that right now. Try it. Okay? And then just really quietly check with your shoulder partner. Not real loud and obnoxious like you were before checking, but just quietly, like, oh yeah, that makes sense, okay? Check with each other. Once you've done 1 or 2, check. We got to get some of you that haven't had your treats yet. So, Zach, start us off. 12 increased by a number is 18. Looks like what? 12 plus n or x? We don't know. So the number, I don't care if you use n or x, but that's our variable, okay? Equal 18. Now, the question is, oh, but I know 12 plus 6 equals 18. I know, but they want you to solve it for that unknown, okay? Nick, got the next one?
Yeah, x divided by 6 equals -2.
The difference of a number and 6. I agree with equals -2. I don't agree with division. Looking back, difference is subtraction. So when I'm talking about, oh, we didn't have difference here, did we? Difference up, there it is, oh, thank you. See, I'm going blind. Okay, so we should have, what am I looking at, Nick? How would I want to put it? N minus 6 or 6 minus n?
X minus 6.
X minus 6, I'm okay with using x, okay? Let's take a look at that next one, okay? Jessica.
2/3 times y equals 15.
2/3, so the product of 2/3 and a number. 2/3
Times y equals 15.
times y equals 15, 16, 15, no problem. Okay?
Could you just put like the variable like the like x or y or something like right next to it, and it would have been like the same thing.
So could you write 2/3 y like
Yeah.
this? Perfect.
Okay.
You do not have to use that dot for multiplication. A lot of times that's nice to have, but you don't have to have it. Okay? Could you write it this way? Could you put 2y/3? Is that the same?
No.
Wrong. It is the same.
How is it?
Okay? I want you to think of this. Why is that the same? Because I'm taking 2/3 times 1y, and that's really over 1, right? Anytime you have a variable or anything that's over 1. So 2 times 1y gives us 2y over 3. So 2/3 y is the same as 2y over 3 going forward. Okay? Just different ways they write it. Emily, got a question or you're going to answer for us? You do? Have you already participated or not yet? Okay, you are up. Go.
-2 equals 5 times x plus 3.
This is a tricky one. When they say 5 times the sum, that means you have to put this in parentheses. 5 times the sum. This part is like in a parenthesis. You're summing it and taking it times 5. Because then we are going to be working with the distributive property coming up. Okay? So, who else do I have that needs to get some candy at the end of the day? No, that hasn't had it. Has not had it.
I haven't had my daily dose of sugar.
I'm sure you haven't. All right. So, it says in questions 1, 2, 3, and 4 that you need to write a verbal model or phrase for the variable expression. Let n represent the number. So, right now, I want you using pen to do these. And so I have, who hasn't gotten over here? You haven't? Or did you have the wrong answer? That was right. That's okay. We'll get you.
No, I didn't get the wrong answer.
You didn't?
I never answered.
Oh, you didn't
Yeah, you
answer.
did.
Oh,
You
yeah,
answered.
you were gonna, but then you. All right, so
Oh, yeah.
Caleb, you're gonna write number 1 up there. You're gonna write number 2 up after you've done it here. Okay? Nope, this Caleb over here. Who else haven't I had go? Emmy? You're gonna write either the expression or the equation. Do it first on your paper, and then come up here. There's a pen right here. Okay? So Caleb, you got 1. Lucas, you have 2. Who else do I have that has not been up? Or haven't got their candy? Elena, have you? Okay, will you do number 3 up there after you write it? You can check with your shoulder partner. Taylor, you want to take 4? Okay, so do those right now on your own. Oh yeah, you guys over here too. We're gonna add some for you. And just you? Just you back over here. I don't know. Did I not give you candy? Oh, I'm sorry. See, I forget people. You had one. Okay, go. If you guys have yours, 1, 2, 3, 4, go up and write it. Do the rest of these too. And remember, it says where it's a number. I want the variable n. So before you go up, you might want to check with your shoulder partner. Caleb, go. If you got 1, go. Okay? Who are my other people? So. When we take a look at that last one, it should have been 24, and I would either take it this way divided by n equals 6, or I'd take 24 divided by n equals 6. They are usually telling you the order. This first, division, number, okay? So just be really careful. 1/4 the number plus 18. Again, we just talked about how the other ways we could write that. So if we are looking 26 minus 4 times a number, all right. So what we want to take a look at is, I'm going to show you this, and so this is another like practice sheet that I could give you. So I want you to write this phrase down right now. 5 more than 2 times a number. Please write that right below those other examples. And because we needed 2 more, we are going to do 2 times the sum of a number and 8. Those are my 2 people, right? So I have Darren and I have Micah. Is there anyone else who we have not had up? Which other one looks really ugly? Oh, let's see. Ooh, 3. And we're going to do this one. We're going to do 3 of them. So put these 3 down. Right on the bottom of your notes. Right on the bottom of your notes. So, just right in the bottom put 5 more than 2 times a number. Write out the phrase for me. Put it out algebraically. Which one of these? So you actually have multiple choice that you could choose from, right? But I want you to just try and write it as if you didn't have the answer. Then we're going to write out 2 times the sum of a number and 8. Okay? And then the third one we are doing is 3 times the sum of twice a number and 8. You did. Which class did you finally discover it in? English. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Okay? Write those. Which one are you looking at? 8 less than P. That's our switch order one. Anytime you have less than, you have to switch the order. Okay? Now, it is very likely, like a homework quiz tomorrow on, here's a phrase, write an expression, right? Here's a phrase, write the equation. Just really quick from what you've done here, something that you've seen. So, you're all looking at this page of front and back of doing for your homework. Questions on anything so far? I really hope I will get your tests corrected and get those back to you. Hopefully tomorrow. I believe there are. I don't know for all of them, but I think there are. I think this.
Traditional
That's C divided by 7.
Traditional answers for anything.
Yeah, you did it right. It had the 7 first, then you switch. Yes, and you can, in the front of your notes, keep this page open as you are doing these, especially like this back page, and make sure you look at these phrases, right? These are key to helping you with writing them out. Okay? So we're going to do the 2. And I will after class now. So we're going to look at these. We're going to do some with these algebra tiles. Okay? So it's going to be this page. And then what you will see here is we will have, we're going to do this where we talk about terms, coefficients, and kind of vocabulary. And then we start adding some light terms together. And I think that's really what it is. Good. I will, but I will leave it up until. So this one goes until here. So we'll page it.
No, like that, we can get out. How can you not fly around like that? There's like folding.
Oh, yeah, that's sheet. Right now.
Yep.
I'm gonna label that sheet. That one sheet.
Here's the thing.
Ask questions.
So we're going to come into this stuff first. I'm gonna pull your quiz right now. So you correct those, which I already gave you. So your quiz needs to be actually correct. Already like on a separate sheet. That might have been when you were asking. Did you finish?
No, but I'm close.
Good.
Ask me questions.
I don't know if I want to answer you, but maybe I will.
I have a question.
Okay.
Again, we just write it.
That's true.
I don't want you to solve it. I just want you to write it. Do they have answers back there?
No, they have it.
Yeah. So, no, do not solve that page at all. Just write it. Yes, that you do want to. So the question was on the bottom of page 1.
We have to solve it.
Okay? I'll put these answers up. On the bottom of page 1, I need to know that you've asked an answer here. But the question was, do I solve this? And plus 14 equals, do I tell what n is? No, you just write the only right.
That's what it's before, so it's 6 weeks. But no, there's also that geography stuff that I can
Because I need those corrected before I can.
Okay, I'm gonna have a workshop and not so for
Are they making like a little calendar?
Put your garbage in the garbage can. Who sits in front of you? Maria and said,
Ow, I just hit myself.
okay, wrap it in the garbage can. Mom, hey, take your device. Don't put it on there. Don't put it on there. Set it on the desk. I did and talking about the notes in there, too, just adding like terms
Sanjay, sure. I didn't hear your question.
All right, let's get your test frame. You didn't get your candy?
You want to ask?
Pick one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I missed you.
I'm sorry. Anyway.
That's fine.
I'm just gonna do this in advisory tomorrow. I only have 2 questions left. I'm gonna do it in advisory.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
I don't like bringing stuff home. I don't know if people have realized I hate bringing stuff home. Waste of my strength.
Took my stuff.
Taylor Martin, come to the office, please.
Okay,
Taylor Martin, come to the office.
I still haven't paid any shots Friday.
Here you go. Hopefully it won't be right when you walk out. Finish.